This is Elise, and I wanted to discuss a question that was brought directly to me a couple of days ago. And a friend of mine, actually, an old friend of mine, am I allowed to say that? Old friend? A friend that I've had for a long time, asked me some advice. So I thought it might be useful to bring it to all of you. And the question was, how do you, as a leader, deal with the fact that some people in your team may not get on, and there may be a couple of people who actually are very antagonistic towards each other and are really creating some difficulties around their relationship, and it's affecting the team and performance. What do you do as a leader when you're in that position? Well, first of all, I would say you're not alone. I've faced this myself many times, and I think the fact that we are human means that we are going to disagree. Conflict on teams, conflict at home, conflict anywhere around people is inevitable. So be ready to address this. If you haven't seen it already on your team, this is coming. My first piece of advice is don't ignore it. Don't do the ostrich head in the sand. Don't hope that it will go away. Don't hope that they're miraculously suddenly going to get on and start liking each other and work it out for themselves. Problems, challenges that we face as leaders need to be addressed head on. They don't usually get better on their own. And this is one particular one where I think that as soon as you see that there's an issue between two of your team members, and it's sustained behaviour over more than a couple of occasions, you need to address it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there is a common denominator in all of this, and it's you as the leader. So the first question I would always ask myself in this situation is it something that I'm doing that's creating the conflict? And I say this because the answer's been yes on more than one occasion when I've asked myself that question when people on my team have been in conflict. I'll give you one example. I might have asked, there's one particular circumstance where I confused two people on my team by asking them to do the same or very similar thing. It created conflict, it created tension, it created just confusion. Now, I didn't even realise that I had done this until I sat down and thought through what is it that they are in tension about. So ask yourself the question, is it you? Okay, if it's not you, that's wonderful, but what is it about? People don't normally come to work with the aim of making enemies, hating each other, creating tension. So there's got to be something underlying this. And I would really, when you're addressing the situation with both of them, and I would do this separately first of all, is try and get through the emotion. Don't ignore the emotion, we're all human, but try and get through the emotion and understand what is this the symptom of? What's the underlying challenge? And then ultimately, I would absolutely bring the two people who are in conflict together in the room with you to try and sort it out. But I would absolutely prepare for that conversation. Don't go into it blind. And I would prepare for it individually with them first. And I would ask each of them to come to that meeting with three things. Now, the first thing might sound a bit woo-woo, and it might feel awkward if you haven't done this before, but it is really worth powering through your awkwardness and doing this. The first one then is to ask them to come ready to talk about something they really respect about that other person. And that does a couple of things. First of all, it puts them in a positive frame of mind. Now, there's definitely one thing that we can think of that's positive about another person, even if you're really deeply in tension and conflict with them. So ask them to come with that mindset that they respect this person already. They respect them, and there are at least one thing that they can talk about in terms of admiring them and feeling positive towards them. The second thing is that they come prepared with a question. They come prepared with an ask. They are prepared to ask that other individual for something positive. Now, to counterbalance that, the third thing that you ask them to come to the meeting with is something that they are prepared to offer, that they think will help resolve this situation. So, and I think if you have that conversation with each of them before, be really clear that you're looking to be the positive catalyst, but the relationship is between the two of them, and that you're asking them to come to this conversation with those three things, something they respect about the other person to put them in a positive frame of mind, something that they are quite clearly going to ask from that other person to be clear about what their challenge is, And the third thing is something they believe they can offer that will positively affect the outcome of the conflict that they're in struggle with. And then the final thing is, and I know that people say focus on behaviour, don't focus on emotion. And I think that that's absolutely right. But what I would add to that is don't ignore the emotion in the room. Acknowledge it. We're all human. I know I say this a lot, but we are all human first. So don't gloss over the emotion. Acknowledge it, but walk through it. Walk through the emotion with them. The basis of a really tight team is trust. And trust is earned in small measures. It's earned in everyday things. And you have to, in order to trust somebody, you have to be able to disagree with them. You have to be able to be in conflict with them and resolve through it. So that's my tip for you. I'd be really delighted to hear if you've got any other tips. If you disagree with me, I'd love to hear that too. So please do leave your comments underneath. It will help this other person to deal with the conflict that's happening in their team. And if you have any questions for me, I'd love to hear them too. So reach out to me. Always very happy to help. So ask me a question. Thanks very much. Until next time.